So we have now been living in our van full time for 2 full weeks. So we got a pretty good idea of where everything goes and how everything works. So we figured now would be a good time to give you a van tour. Let's go check it out.
We're Mark and Donna, and last month we sold our house and most of our belongings in order to move into this 2007 Dodge Sprinter 2500 and live a life of adventure. Together with Mark's dad, we spent almost a year converting this van for off-grid living and customizing it to make it feel like a home. We are now excited to finally show you our home on wheels and how we live in such a tiny space.
Welcome to our home on wheels. All right, welcome to our living room. This is one of our favorite spots in the van. We spend a lot of time here. As you can see right up front, we have our couch here. I love the positioning of this because it allows us to sit here and look out through our door at all the beautiful views that we can come across. And it's actually quite comfy. You can lay back like this even, and you could honestly take a nap here, even sleep here if you wanted to. We did install some curtains behind here, so that does give us easy, quick privacy if we do want to close it up. And underneath the couch, we also have storage. You can access this from either these sliding doors right here, or you can lift the couch cushions up from the top. So it's very easy to get down to things if we need it. We keep a lot of random things such as blankets, extra towels, electronics, pantry items, pretty much anything you can name that we need easy access to, we keep underneath there. What's really cool also is we actually do have electrical outlets, and we also have some USB outlets over on this side. The reason we put them actually under the couch is so that way we can have electronics and cameras and laptops underneath here charging, and that way they're out of the way, they're not just taking up counter space everywhere. We also have AC outlets on the side of the couch over here, as well as USB outlets. So we wanted to make sure we had lots of outlets everywhere throughout the van, so that way we would never have to worry about running out of plugs to charge things. Above our couch, we have our cabinet. This is mainly all of our pantry items and food items that we like to get. We got these baskets from Target, and we love them just because they kind of keep everything in. Before we had these, whenever we'd open the door, like things would constantly fall out. So these work really well, just kind of hold everything in. And we also installed these magnets on the doors so they kind of stick, and that way we don't have things falling out while we're driving as well. Right here, we have more storage over our cab area. There's actually a huge storage closet in here, which we have all sorts of random things. My dad actually built this cover, and I love it because before we had this, it was just open like this all the time, and one, things were falling out, but two, it just kind of looks cluttery. And now we can close that, clutter's gone, it looks super nice, and it holds everything inside. So thank you, Dad, for making that. We do have some curtains right here. So again, if we want easy privacy, we can just close those, close the whole cab front section off. Right here, we have our lovely sign that our good friend Maria gave to us for our anniversary. We actually had this in our house back before we moved into the van. We found that it just fit perfectly right here in this spot, and the colors kind of just match with the van theming already. So it just gave it that homey touch that it was missing. So we love that. Thank you, Maria, if you're watching. Here on the couch, you'll notice we do have some pillows. These are actually multifunctional one. They do look nice, but they actually also unzip. And inside we have our jackets and winter clothes. Those things take up a lot of space, and we have very limited space for clothes to begin with. So we bought these pillow covers and just zip up extra winter jackets in there. That way it keeps them out of the way, and kind of looks nice as well. Next to our couch, we do have a little cubby on each side that we also store random things. Over here, like we have our laptop and a little laptop tray table. On this side, we have our TV monitor. We also have our front windshield cover. And when you're living in such a small space, you just got to find every little inch of space you can and tuck things away. So when we first bought this van, the couch was already installed, but we didn't have anywhere to work and like to work on our computer. So we built this table which one, I just love the way it looks. It came out really good. We built this ourselves by hand. If you haven't seen our van build videos, check it out. We go into detail how we did it. It mounts right here on this lagoon mount, like so, and it's just a perfect spot for when we want to work on our computers or just eat. We use it as like a tray table as well. And again, we can sit here and look out at all the beautiful views. It swivels around, and yeah, I love this thing. So glad we installed it. Right above here on the side, next to this cabinet, you can see we have lots of hooks. We also have a basket up here, and yeah, we just use this to hang towels, backpack. Inside this basket, we have like lots of hats, beanies, and other random stuff. Yeah, so lots of hooks come in very useful. Over here, we do have a little shelf as well. We did install this recently, and we found that we just had a lot of items that we use frequently, such as bug spray and sunscreen, and we didn't have a spot for it, so we put this shelf up here, and it serves a perfect purpose for just holding all those little random things. Plus it has these hooks to hang our keys on, so that way they're not getting lost. We have a spot to put them every night, and yeah, really like the shelf. And then as we close the door, right here you can see we have this Van Essentials window cover. We actually bought these for all of the windows to cover the entire van. We love them because one, they keep it insulated, they keep the heat and cold out, and they also block out all lights. So at night we can have all the lights on inside the van, and from the outside you can't see any light coming out. So it's great for privacy. Plus they're just magnetic and they roll up, so if you want to have it partially open, you can just roll it up a little bit, and they Velcro at the top. Honestly though, we kind of keep them closed, I would say like 95% of the time. Right below the window, we have our US map. We bought this right before we started on our travels, and I love this thing because you actually scratch off the states as you travel through them, and it colors them in. As you can see, we are behind on scratching them off because we've been all up through here, but we need to get on that. But it's really cool, helps us keep track of where we've been and where we still have to go. Plus they have the national parks up here at the top you can scratch off, so we're hoping to scratch off as many of these as we can as we travel across the United States. Right here next to our map, we do have a shoe rack. Originally when we bought the van, we didn't have a spot for shoes, and so they just got scattered everywhere inside here, and it was just cluttered all over. So we built this and installed it right here. It's not the prettiest thing, but it works well, and it keeps our shoes secure from moving around, and it kind of keeps the dirt up towards the front of the van. So right next to our map, underneath the chair, it's kind of hidden, but we do have a diesel heater as well. We did install this also after we bought the van, and I cannot recommend that enough. One, it was really cheap, it was like 150 bucks, but it works so well, and it's actually been chilly here the last few nights in Illinois, so we had that running, and it heats this van up real quick. So yeah, I love the diesel heater, so glad we installed it. Right above the diesel heater, we have our trash can. We actually just bought this from Amazon. It hangs on the back of the passenger chair, so it's kind of out of the way, and yeah, it's just cool. It has a little Velcro lid, kind of keeps the smells inside. And then above us, we have a fan. We have two fans, one here and then one above the bed. This one actually pulls air out, which is good because it is kind of right above our kitchen area, so it pulls any smells and smoke out. And then the one above our bed pulls the air in, so together when they're both on, it creates like a circulation of airflow, and it works really well for keeping the van cool. It's pretty hot. We would normally have them on right now, but they are a little loud, and so we turned them off to film this, but they definitely work well. And so yeah, that wraps up our living room area. Let's move on to the kitchen next. So if you've been following Donna and I, then you know we love to eat and also love to cook. So having a fully stocked kitchen was super important to us. So let me take you through it. We'll start from the front all the way to the back. Right here we have this pop-up counter. This just gives us extra cutting space and food prep space. I like that it does fold down where we're not using it, but when we need it, it gives us a lot of extra room. Coming in next, we have our induction stove. When we originally bought the van, It did have a propane stovetop installed, but we didn't really like the idea of driving around with a giant propane tank in a moving vehicle. So we got rid of that and replaced it with the induction stovetop instead. And we're so happy we did because it just works great. It heats up super quick, and we haven't had any issues with running low on electricity yet. We got that from Impava, which I believe we ordered from Amazon. But yeah, works really well. I'm very happy with it. Up next, we have our kitchen sink. Pretty basic, nothing special here, but it gives us water. In hindsight, I wish we would have installed a bigger and deeper sink, but with the location it's at and with the fridge underneath, we just don't have room. But maybe on our next build, we'll do that. Right above the sink, we have our spices. So this is on a magnetic spice rack. These all just stick up here magnetically. I love that because it keeps the spices out of the way and opens up more storage area in the cabinet. And we can actually write on the bottom of the spices what's in there and what date we put them in, so we can keep track of everything. Next to the spices, we do have a mirror. You gotta have at least one mirror in a van just so you can see yourself, make sure you look good, and brush your teeth and all that. We got this from Target, and I like it because it's just super lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of room, and it works. Next to that, we have our fruit basket. We actually just installed this about a week ago, and the reason we did it is because we didn't have a spot for fruit and they kept getting bruised sitting on the counter. So we put this here and it's worked really well. The only downside is when we do cook on the stovetop, we have to remove it just because it's kind of in the way. But other than that, very happy with the fruit basket. Right here, we have our microwave. We debated on getting a microwave when we were moving into the van, but honestly, we're glad we did. It does take up a lot of space, but just the convenience of it. And if you just want to like reheat some leftover food real quick, you can't beat it. Below this counter right here, we do have our fridge. This is a Costway cooler style fridge. It's kind of a pain to pull out. You gotta pull it out like this. We actually usually sit on the toilet to do that, which is behind me. But I love that it has a lot of room. We can fit pretty much a week's worth of groceries in here. And yeah, it just works really well. And it's 12 volt, it runs on DC, so it doesn't use a lot of electricity. So yeah, highly recommend it. Next to the fridge, we have, first off, we have 4 AC outlets. One is permanently used for our induction stove, but the other 3 we can plug in microwave or just charge camera gear, things like that. We have our knife rack right here, which is also magnetic. This just keeps our knives out of the way, and it works really well. We haven't had any issues with anything falling yet. We got a Brita water filter. In the back, we have our Ninja blender. And yeah, we just kind of use this extra room down here for random storage as well. We also do have 2 more AC outlets up top, I forgot to show you. In the very back of our kitchen, we have our silverware drawer. It's also kind of a junk drawer. We keep a lot of random things in as well. And then below that, we have a big storage cubby here. Underneath here, we keep our pots and pans, and we got bowls and spatulas and all sorts of miscellaneous kitchen items. So love that there's lots of storage throughout the van. As we move to the top section of the kitchen, we do have a cabinet here. This is where we keep all our plates, bowls, Tupperware, cups, all our dishes pretty much. Next to that, we have a little cubby here, which is where we keep our toothbrush and pretty much all of our dental hygiene stuff, our water pick, mouthwash, toothbrush, toothpaste, all that stuff. We did put these bungees here just to keep things from falling out. It doesn't look the nicest, but it works really well. Oh, and then we got a paper towel holder. I got this one that clicks. It's got like some tension to it so that it doesn't just blow constantly. If it gets really strong winds, it still does, but just really satisfying click too. I like that thing. But yeah, that's pretty much our kitchen. Let's move on to our bathroom next. So when we were first looking to get into van life, one of the must-have items we were looking for was a built-in bathroom and shower, just so we can still have some of those conveniences of home with us on the road. So we love that this van has a shower here. As you can see, it does have a pull-out shower curtain, which is really cool because it tucks away when you're not using it, And then when you do need a shower, it gives you about an extra 6 inches of space, which really helps out. Inside though is our tiny shower and toilet. Our composting toilet right here, this is an Airhead composting toilet. It's a little pricey, but we love this thing just because it breaks all the waste down naturally, so you don't have to worry about finding like a black tank to dump it into or anything. The worst part is changing out the pee container. About every 2 to 3 days that fills up, and then we do have to find like a toilet to go dump it into. It's a little dirty and smelly, but you know, it's better than not having a toilet at all. So very happy with this thing. It does also vent out. There's a hose right here that goes to the outside of the van. That one helps everything compost correctly, but 2, it also vents all the smells out. So we've had 0 issues with smells inside here, which is great. Right above here, we do have our shower. So we do have a 35-gallon water tank built in. I'll show you in the back of the van that supplies all of our water. And we do have a hot water heater as well, so we have both cold and hot water. As you can see, it's a kind of tiny space to shower in, but when you've been hiking and sweaty and hot all day, it's so nice to be able to come home and even just take a quick shower is better than nothing. So we're extremely grateful to have this shower. Yeah, it's come in very handy. But we do also keep an extra trash can right there, just so we have room to throw our kitchen supplies and other random stuff. And we also got a soap and shampoo dispenser right here. And then as you can see below the toilet, we do have this teak wood floor mat. We actually bought this from Amazon and I really like it. 1, it just looks nice, but 2, it kind of gives you some grip to hold on to. And we actually secured the toilet down onto that teak mat, so that way it kind of holds the toilet in, so we don't have to worry about it tipping over, because that would be a huge mess. Right above our shower here, we do have an air conditioner. This is a rooftop air conditioner, and we love this thing because on hot days we run that and it cools off the van really well. And plus it's completely off grid. It runs off our solar and our battery banks, so we don't have to be plugged in to run that. We can run it for about honestly a full 24 hours before our batteries start to get low. On the back side of our shower here, we do have a little access area. We got a few things here. 1, we have our battery monitor, so we can see our power level. We are at 100% battery right now. This is our inverter switch, so when we want to plug something into the AC outlet, we can turn that on and then turn it off when we're not using it. That way it doesn't draw power. And then below that, we do have our hot water heater right here and the switch for our hot water heater, as well as some of our plumbing is kind of hidden behind this wall back here. Right next to our hot water heater here, we do have these doors that actually slide to the side. And this gives us access to our storage underneath the bed. We have a huge storage section here. This is actually where we keep our battery bank. And then in here we have lots of extra supplies, cleaning supplies, things like that. So if we need to get to them, we don't have to go all the way around to the outside of the van. Right under here, we have our gray water tank. This is a 6-gallon tank that catches our sink water. Yeah, we'll show you more of the storage area as we get around to the back side of the van. But yeah, that's pretty much our shower. Let's go check out the bedroom next. All right, so to get up into our bedroom, our bed is built up very high. We use this little step stool. We actually normally keep this in the shower when we're not using it, just to keep it out of the way. But it just unfolds and we place it right there and step on up into our bedroom. As you can see, there's not a lot of headroom. Our bed is built up very high. So we have to watch our heads constantly, but the advantage is it gives us a ton of storage underneath, which we'll show you when we get to the back. Along the side here, we do have cabinets. This is where we keep all of our clothes. This front cabinet is Donna's, and this back one is mine. You can actually fit a good amount of clothes up in here. We bought these packing cubes because originally our clothes kept falling out, so we bought these to kind of hold everything in, and it also helps keep it organized. It works really well. We do also have additional cubes here. We found that we couldn't quite fit all of our clothes up in here, so we bought these storage bins, and they just kind of sit below the cabinets, and it gives us a lot of extra room to put more clothes in. This is how we sleep though. I sleep on this side, and Donna sleeps here next to me. I do have to watch the cabinets. I've hit my head on these a few times, but I'm starting to get used to it. The bed's actually super comfy though. It's a memory foam mattress. I believe it's like a full-size bed. My feet do stick off a little bit, but overall it's super comfy and we're really happy with the bed. Right here next to the foot of the bed on Donna's side, there is a little shelf. So we put a lot of random stuff, headphones, Kindle, blankets up in there. And I also have a shelf here on the back side of mine that you can't really see. Plus we also have USB outlets on each side of the bed so we can charge our phones at night. We do also have windows on the bed that you can actually look out. We don't really use those too often to look out, but what we do use them for is storage. There's a little cubby area that you can kind of tuck stuff down there, and it works good just to kind of keep your phone and things out of the way while you're sleeping. Donna also does have a little night light right here, and we do have lights above in the roof also. But yeah, that's pretty much our bed tour. But I do like, as you can see, you can open the doors up, and especially if you have a really pretty view, you can just look out at the mountains or the beach or wherever you're at. Next though, let's go take you around to the back side of the van and we'll show you the garage. So this is our garage area. So as we talked about earlier, our bed is built really high. The advantage of that though is it gives us a ton of storage to put stuff in the back. This main tray right here is where we keep the majority of our stuff. We have these big Rubbermaid bins. We have a lot of like tools and electronics and miscellaneous items. If you know us, you also know that fitness is a huge part of our lives. So we had to make sure to bring some fitness gear along. We do have some adjustable dumbbells. We also have this bin, which is full of like resistance bands and all sorts of different fitness gear so we can work out on the road. We got a ladder here so we can access the solar panels on our roof. What I love too is that this tray actually does slide out. It is a little heavy because of all the stuff on there, but it just makes it easier if you need to get to something in the back because it does extend all the way to the front. Below here, we have our longboards. We do love longboarding and it's a great way to get around if we don't feel like walking, so we wanted to make sure we brought those along. We built a rack right here, and what I like is there's actually a hidden compartment behind the longboards. And as you can see, the longboards stay on here even when you open the door up. Underneath here though is actually where we keep a lot of our electronics and camera gear when we leave the van. And the reason we do that is we did install this padlock lock on there. Very sturdy, so that way we don't have to worry about anyone breaking in and getting our valuables while we are away. We do have an outdoor shower here. This is connected to our hot water heater also, so we can even take hot showers here, which is amazing. As you can see, it works quite well. And this is just great if we've been at like the beach or something and want to shower all the sand off before we get inside. So we definitely love having the outdoor shower. Inside this big wood box is actually our water tank. That's our 35-gallon water tank to supply all the water to our van. We did cut a hole here so we can kind of see inside to check our water levels. And then on top, this lid does come off if we need to access it from above. But in the meantime, it gives us room to store more stuff. We wanted to make sure we could use every inch of space possible for storage. So up on top, we have our toolbox, we got an extension cord, some camp chairs, lots of other miscellaneous items on top of that shelf here. We did also install a light at night. That makes it very easy to find stuff back here. And then we do have one more little cubby section down here, which is where we keep our yoga mats and got some more camp chairs and things like that under there. Last but not least, right above it, we have our electrical system. Me and my dad installed all of this ourselves after we bought the van. We wanted to make sure we do have access to it in case we need to change a fuse or anything, which is why we put these removable panels on there. And they just stick up with magnets, so they're super easy. And this panel on the side is actually also removable. In order to do that though, you do have to take some of the stuff out, which we're about to do just so we can show you our electrical system next. All right, so to talk about our electrical system, I think we first need to talk about our battery bank because that is super important. Right here below the sliding tray, when it slides out, is our battery banks. We have 4 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries. That gives us a total battery bank of 800 amp hours, which is a pretty big battery bank. But we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of power to run our induction stove, our air conditioner, our microwave, and also all the cameras and electrical gear that we need to charge. And so far it's worked great. We haven't even come close to running out. And these batteries are by Ampere Time. I think they recently changed names, but I'll put a link to them below. We've been super happy with them. They're a little pricey, but for what they give you, they are top notch. So right behind me here on the left is our electrical wall, which is where we mounted all of our electrical gear. So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of kind of how everything works. The main thing is, as I said, we have our batteries here, and there are 3 ways to charge the batteries. Number 1 is through solar power, which is what this box right here does. This is our Victron solar charge controller. We do have 3 100-watt solar panels on the roof, and pretty much that takes the solar energy and puts them into our batteries to charge it up. Right next to that, we do have our Victron DC to DC charge controller as well. And this actually allows us to charge our batteries while we are driving. It uses the alternator from our engine to charge the batteries up. And honestly, we found just between these two alone, that pretty much keeps our batteries at 100%. But if we ever do get low, we have a third backup option, which is this black Power Max box in the back. That is our shore power converter. So if we do get low, we can actually plug in with an extension cord into shore power. So that works well if we are at like a campground with electricity, or if we're like at a family member's house where we have access to an electrical plug-in. And that charges them up super quick if we ever need it. Other than that, we also have our Jandel 3000 watt inverter right above there. That just allows us to use our AC outlet so we can run things such as the microwave and our induction stove. And then we do have lots of fuses, bus bars, and wires just connecting everything together. I'm not gonna go into detail all that just because it gets a little complicated. All right, so that about sums up our electrical system. Next, I'm just gonna take you around the outside of the van to show you all the little details out there, and then we'll show you the front cab area as well. All right, so last I'm just gonna take you around a quick tour of the outside of the van and the cab area to finish things off. As you can see right here on our side, we did put a decal with our YouTube channel. We've actually had a few people message us that said they saw us driving around on the road and they went and subscribed to us. So we're glad we put that there. And if you're watching this and you're not already subscribed, make sure you go to subscribe to stay tuned for all of our travels. Right up here, we also have a security camera. We actually have one on each side of the van. Those record continuously, so that way when we do leave, we can still kind of keep an eye on things in case anyone does try to break in. Right next to that, we also have a big storage rack up there. There's one of those on each side, and in those we have an inflatable kayak. We also keep our tent. We kind of put stuff up there that we don't use all the time, but we still want to have with us. So we're definitely glad to have the extra storage up top. Around back, we have some more stickers. These are just some of our random band stickers and favorite bands and things like that. As you can see, we got another decal here with our YouTube channel. All right, on this side, we do have our shore power plug right here. So when we do want to charge our batteries through shore power, we just plug an extension cord in there and charges them up real quick. This is our vent for our composting toilet. So this is where it vents all the air out to compost things correctly and keep the smells outside the van. And as you can see, we have the other storage rack and camera up on this side as well. All right, let's go check out the cab next. All right, so this is our cab. Honestly, it's nothing super special up here, but I did want to give you a quick tour at least. Right here, we have our phone holder. We're really bad with directions, so we always have our phone here with the GPS on, telling us where to go. There's some storage under here as well. Got lots of storage on cup holders, things like that. One thing that we absolutely love though is this rear view camera. When we turn the van on, this automatically turns on like so. As you can see, it is Wolfbox is the brand. And this is actually connected to a camera in the very back of the van. And so it pretty much gives us a rear view mirror, even though we can't see all the way through the back. What I love though is that you can also even switch it to a front facing camera, or you can even do side by side. And this does record continuously to a memory card, so it also acts as a dash cam as well. It was kind of a pain to install because we had to run wires all the way from the front to the back, but 100% worth it. I think we got it from Amazon. I'll put the link as well, but definitely recommend this thing if you're doing van life. Hanging from here, this is Drogo's collar. If you haven't seen our previous videos, Our beloved dog recently passed away, and so we wanted to bring him with us though. So we brought his collar, kind of carry him along with us on our travels. Up here we also have some plugs to plug in through the 12-volt outlets if we need to charge anything. And then right here, this is our sound system. So when we bought the van, it only had a radio. There was no CD player, no aux player, no nothing. And the speakers were just garbage. And if you know me, I love music. I'm always cranking tunes when I'm driving. So we bought this, and it's worked really well. This is a Soundcore Motion Boom, I believe it's called. Boombox is just a wireless Bluetooth speaker. And the sound's really good. It allows us to just connect our phones, play some Spotify through it. And what's cool is, like, even when we leave, if we go to the beach or something, we can take this with us, so it's portable as well. So definitely glad we bought this. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much our cab, and that about wraps up our van tour. Alright guys, that about wraps up our van tour. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up on this video. And if you're considering van life, hopefully this gave you some insight on things you like or don't like on your own van build. We're actually about to head into Chicago next. So if you'd like to see more of our travels, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We're taking this all across the United States as we travel in it full time. And we hope to see you next week. Stay wild.